Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Bidman. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up because today we are doing a trend video that is influenced by France, Emily in Paris, and also the kitten flick movement with a bold lip, so stay tuned. I've already washed my face and done my skincare, so let's get started by neutralizing the face. First, I'm going to do a little bit of correcting with the Bobbi Brown Corrector, taking that on my ring finger and just gently tapping that in anywhere I'm seeing a little bit of discoloration. The nice thing about applying this with your finger is that you're warming up the product so that when you place it on the skin, it's already kind of melting into the skin and you don't have to blend it out quite as much. Making sure you're getting into those inner corners as well where we all have a little bit of a blue or purple vein that kind of runs through as well. Next up we are taking the NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. This one is clear, splitting it between my ring finger. I just rolled the doe foot applicator onto my ring finger so that it wasn't too much silicone. I've spoken about this before. When I was a younger makeup artist, I took way too much silicone, put it on someone's face, and it was very difficult to do the makeup around that area. So just be aware of how much product you're putting on the face no matter what it is. The last prep step we are going to do is tight lining, and I do have a new black treacle pencil so it's nice and long, and I'm just going to very gently lift up my lid and get right underneath the lashes so that I'm filling in any gaps. It gives the illusion of a fuller lash line, which just makes us think of youth. It's kind of imprinted in our lizard brain, as Seth Godin would say. Alright, we have properly prepped the face. Now we have two kind of focal points. We have the lips with a nice bright lip. We are going to be using Skyscraper Rose from Lisa Eldridge, and we also have a liner. So this is definitely the kitten flick trend that's happening. But to balance that, we want to do some kind of a lip because it's a very minimal eye makeup look. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Cressida, which is from Lisa Eldridge. I just spun the doe foot applicator on my ring finger. I'm going to split it and I'm gently going to place that on my lid. I just want to put down something for the other shadows to grip onto. I'm also going to bring that in that inner corner as well. We're kind of building this look, jumping around a little bit, but that way I know that everything is going to be nice and cohesive. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. I'm going to grab Skyscraper Rose, apply that, and then go in with the 1C, also from Lisa Eldridge, and make sure everything is nice and clean. While this is not a typical fall color, I love just the pop, and it's really fun right now when the temperatures are kind of up and down and all over the place. I think most places around the country in the United States are having a very warm week, so it is kind of fun to play against the trends and play against the seasons sometimes too. I'm going to take my 1C and I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and defined. I'm not going to fill in it all. There's quite a bit of pigment already. This is just to lock this in a little bit more and define my lips. The 1C is about the same tone as my natural lip, so even if I go a little bit outside of my lip line, it's still gonna look pretty natural. And it makes me feel like I don't need a million pencils to match every single lipstick that I have. So you can see now that the lining is done, that there's just a little bit more definition. So now we're ready to let that sit, and we can always add in a gloss like Delilah or something else maybe to tone it down however we're feeling. We can pop back up to the eyes, and actually we can already see that this is playing really nicely together. We don't need too many more eyeshadows. So I have the Sophisticate palette from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm going to add a little bit of that very natural looking matte brown into the crease, and we'll see if we need to amp it up a little bit, but I want to make sure that this is very French, this is very Emily in Paris, and this is really highlighting that lip and liner conversation that's happening. So on my 201, I'm just going to pick that up on the tip of my brush, make sure all sides are saturated, start on that outer corner, and then work my way up. I am adjusting my brush as I do that. I do more of the side of my brush on my actual lid, and then I flip more to the tip when I'm in the crease. So don't forget that your brushes have multiple uses just by how you're holding them and even how you're picking up the product. Make sure that everything makes sense and you're not working against yourself. So same thing, more of the side of the brush and then switching to the tip as we get into the socket and into the crease. And just by adding a little bit of definition, I think it gives the face more of that light and shadow conversation, but also I just, for my eye shape, if I don't put something into the socket, into the crease, then it always feels a little bit undone and it feels a little bit flat up here, and I want to have a three-dimensional face. So now I'm going in with my 217 into the same color. And because this is a denser brush, it will give us a little bit more pigment payoff. It's not going to fling the shadow around quite as much as the 201. And I'm really just focusing that on the outer third. Again, kind of just to lift the eye a little bit. We're gonna leave that alone. We can always use another brush to blend out if we need to. Now, if you haven't worked with liquid liner before, it's a good time to pull out either a kajal, a regular pencil like Lisa's, or even some eyeshadow to kind of guide you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the kajal, because it is a little bit softer, but I'm still working in black, and I'm gonna focus just on the lid and then do the wing with her Kitten flick. But I want to make sure that I'm getting right into the roots of the lashes. And this is a little bit of a graphic look. This is kind of the only graphic look that we're seeing this fall, which is really interesting, even though it's still very subtle and very, very feminine. So keeping that very close to the roots of the lashes. We don't want it to become a smoky eye. We don't want it to become anything more than it needs to be. And then taking that sponge and just softening any bumps that happen while you're applying your eyeliner. So before I finish up the eyes, what I need to do is I need to do my complexion. I'm going to start with the number 9 from Lisa Eldridge, and I'm actually going to mix in a little bit of T6 from her skin tint, because the skin tint is just a little bit darker than my foundation. I also really love the texture, but I want a little bit more of a longevity with this look, and I do find, especially when the weather is warmer, that the skin tint kind of goes away. I'm also trying out lots of skincare right now, and sometimes I don't put on enough hyaluronic acid or enough oils to lock everything in, and so I do find that my skin is kind of eating my foundation just a little bit throughout the day. So if I have my actual foundation on, I do find that I look a little bit more polished by the end of the day, whereas the skin tint, just because I am experimenting with a few things and treatments and all of that, does kind of disappear. And I'm using the number 1 blending brush, just patting that in where I need to and using painterly motions as needed. Once there's not very much left on my hand, then I just usually pick it up from the back of my hand as well. And we'll kind of go from there and kind of tapping that in. Lisa says that her skin tint is excellent underneath the eye, so it's just a nice thin little layer that I can add under the eye as well. Now I'm ready for my concealer. So again, rolling that doe foot onto my ring finger, I'm going to split it and then just tap that in, and I'll go back in with a brush and make sure everything is blended, no harsh edges. Or even sometimes when I'm rolling the doe foot applicator on my fingers, I still pick up a little bit more than I need, and it's nice to have that brush to blend everything out or kind of pick up any excess that's happening. And since we're working on complexion, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows, fill in any gaps where I need to, going in the same direction as my brow hair is naturally growing. We're not doing anything crazy with our brows today. We're trying to keep everything very natural again, so that the focus is on the liner and the lips. So now we are ready for translucent powder. I just tapped off a little bit into the cap. I'm using my 110, and I'm just going to tap that in through the center of the face, anywhere where there's a little bit more shine than I'd like there to be. Now we are ready to finish up the eyes and then finish up the complexion. So I'm going to take Lisa's Kitten flick, and I'm just following my lower lash line and adding just a little bit of an uptick. I can always add more if I need to. I think I even read an article that said that Emily in Paris uses Lisa Eldridge's Kitten flick too. So now we're ready for mascara. I'm going to team up with DIOR and do the primer and then the Overcurl next. And of course, last but not least, we are going to be adding in a little bit of bronzer. So both of these are from Charlotte Tilbury. A little bit of bronzer and a little bit of blush. This one is in a title I will put down on the corner. Using my bronzer brush just to give a little bit of life to the face, a little bit of definition. Sometimes when we go bold with the lip, it can almost drain our skin. It can look really nice against the skin, but it can kind of pale us out in a weird way. So all we want to do is just add a little bit of bronzer, a little bit of blush. And with Charlotte's blushes, I like to go around the perimeter and just tap that center. And then you're getting your two colors that people like Grace Kelly, she would do this. She would always use two blush tones, something a little bit lighter, something a little bit darker. And it just gives the most natural glow. I think whenever you can layer your colors, layer your products, it just looks so much better. And that is the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching this Kitten Flick and Emily in Paris inspired tutorial. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, beauty videos every Friday. Make sure you are following me on Instagram and watching the shorts in between for more before and afters and lots of outfit inspiration to make your life a little bit easier and a little bit more glossy. And I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye.